The New Orleans Saints are in prime position to make an absolute power move this offseason, and just recently they got some pretty crazy news.
The New Orleans Saints have been doing research on the quarterback position, homework on the quarterback position since early this season. My understanding is they have been scouting the top quarterbacks since really when the college season began. So this is not new. Now, they didn't know what pick they would have. They had hoped they would have a draft pick much later because that would mean Dennis Allen would still be employed. That would mean they would have had a much more successful season. But they have been all in on the quarterbacks for quite some time, thinking that even though Derek Carr was going to be their starter in 2025, they would still need a long-term answer. Then fast forward to really what's happened over I would say the last couple weeks when it became clear that Derek Carr's shoulder injury has not healed like anyone thought. And he is now weighing options, trying to figure out, is he going to have surgery? Certainly, I would say his status for the 2025 season is in doubt, which means the New Orleans Saints now have a very realistic possibility of considering a quarterback at 9, which is why Panthers general manager Dan Morgan, who has number 8, was talking to reporters earlier today and said, yeah, I think he'd be open to moving back if someone wanted to come up and trade over the New Orleans Saints.
Now, when you look at the situation that they're currently in, they've done a really good job just adding talent. I mean, you bring in Brandon Cooks. That's not the biggest move in the world, but I really like what he can bring as a veteran alongside a healthy Chris Olave and hopefully a healthy Rashid Shaheed. You add a left guard. I think that's always something you could do. Add really good depth with Will Clapp. Maybe a backup center for them. And then defensively, they bring in some day one starters. Devon Godshaw, formerly with the New England Patriots, as that nose tackle, trying to really stuff the run a little bit more. Isaac Yiadom is a very underrated DB in my opinion. I think he'll be good with them. And then you add a Super Bowl winning safety in Justin Reed alongside Tyrann Mathieu, to kind of help develop some of the younger guys on the team. I mean, I think they've done an incredible job. We're going to deep dive more into these guys, but the purpose of this video is to understand what the quarterback situation is going to be like and what this New Orleans Saints team is going to do to kind of replace that Derek Carr type of quarterback that does keep them very competitive. But before we get into that, I do want to break down a little bit of what they've added in this year's free agency just to show you they actually have gone better. Now, the one thing that really stood out to me coming into this year's offseason was the run defense. It was quite frankly terrible last season, and they needed to improve. I mean, they were ranking 30th, almost dead last in the NFL in terms of yards allowed per carry, also rush yards allowed per game, and 23rd in rushing touchdowns per game allowed as well. They needed to get better in this area. Now, they got better right away. Trading for a guy like Devon Godshaw, I think, was a perfect fit with that terrible run defense. This is a guy that can play a lot of 0 technique, 1 technique, 2 technique, so that positional versatility on the interior of the defensive line is really going to help. Here's a stretch to the right. Looking to always keep his eyes on the running back here. He's going to carry this lineman the way the running back goes and then be able to rip off last second and help stop Jordan Mason in the backfield for a loss of a yard, right? Now, again, when it comes to stopping the run, you need these big interior guys that can add that versatility. Now, he's not amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you got the best nose tackle, run stuffing guy in the NFL. He's not. He's not that. But he is a guy that can help out. Might not be a 3-down player at all times. But, man, just getting better in that aspect alone is definitely a good sign. Now, last season, the Saints were actually pretty good offensively. I mean, they weren't amazing, but they were good. They were reliable in a lot of areas. When you look at the yards per rush, 15th, we'll take that. Obviously, want to see improvement, but that's not bad, right? 15th in rush yards per game, cool. 17th in rushing touchdowns per game. You can see they weren't one of the worst teams. They were like middle of the pack. 14th in QB sack percentage, so the offensive line wasn't bad at all, which means this completion percentage needs to be up. If you're not getting sacked the most in the NFL, you should have a pretty good completion percentage. Now, I get it, all the wide receivers were out, and they'll be healthy soon, but they also made a pickup that I really liked, improved the overall potential, and Dylan Radins, I mean, the reason I like him is he has flash potential on both sides in terms of pass blocking and run blocking. Now, when you just take a look at his 2024 grade, you're going to sit here and be like, well, that's not good. 58th out of 135 guards and 111th in terms of run blocking. That's not great. But the thing I like about him is he has shown flashes of excellence. In 2023, was a top 11 run blocking guard in football. You go back to 2022, he was a top 16 pass blocking guard in the NFL. So I think he has shown a lot of potential over his career to not only develop but get better in different aspects. If he can have a year where he can put that top run blocking year and that top pass blocking year into one, this guy's going to be a day one upgrade for them and could move that needle for this offense. But man, my favorite pickup was Justin Reed, and I was really quite honestly surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs let him go. I think this is a guy that can help you win a Super Bowl almost right away. And if you can see here, the dude ranked as the 20th best safety in football last season in overall grade, was one of the best run support safeties in football at 31st out of 171 safeties, and then was 12th in terms of coverage. Not only are you adding a guy in the defense that can do everything, right? Whether it's stop the run and run support or drop back into coverage and read the quarterback's eyes when he's in his zone coverage. This is a guy that I absolutely love alongside Tyrann Mathieu at the safety position. Now, real quickly, before we talk about this QB situation, guys, do me a big time favor. Hit that like button if you want more Saints videos going forward. But more importantly, comment down below P2 if you want me to cover more Saints throughout this year's offseason. If you guys like the videos, I will continue to post them, okay? And also, make sure you guys subscribe. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Like I said, you guys want them, we got you guys covered all year long. Join the family, turn on post notifications. But let's talk a little bit about the draft. Now, the Saints are in a very interesting spot for this year's NFL draft. I believe Cam Ward will go 1, Travis Hunter 2, I think Abdul Carter will go 3. But if Shedeur Sanders is able to fall to 9, I would take him all day, every day. However, if he's not there, let's just be honest, I don't think they're reaching at all if they were to take Jackson Dart here at number 9. But if they wanted to get a little bit spicy, they could. Now, again, my pick would be Jackson Dart here. I think he's a good quarterback that not a lot of people are giving as much credit as he deserves. But let's just say they wanted to go Tet or Walter Nolan. If you want to improve that run defense even more, they could go for a guy like Walter Nolan. I would not be mad at that at all, okay? This is a guy's beast. And you know what? For the purpose of this video, right, let's take Walter Nolan. This guy is going to be tremendous in the interior of the defensive line. I love him, right? Let's take Walter Nolan, and let's just see what happens for the second round. Now, you're back up on the clock in the second round. There's Jalen Milroe. There's Will Howard. Jackson Dart would not be there, but if he was, you would take him every single day of the week. The guy is going to be a day one starter. At the end of the day, I think I would probably go Jalen Milroe for this pick. I like him a lot in terms of potential. Will Howard's there. Tyler Shuck's there. But overall, guys, I think there's a lot of things that this team can really do with their number 9 overall selection. They could trade back, they could trade up, they could draft Jackson Dart. Maybe Shedeur Sanders falls to them, maybe he doesn't, maybe they take quarterback in the second round. The one thing that you love is flexibility. And at the end of the day, if I'm sitting here at number 9, every single day of the week, I am running and I am drafting Jackson Dart. Now, this is probably going to say it's a bad draft pick, but in my opinion, this would be, and the reason they're saying it's a bad draft pick, guys, is because it says they already have a franchise quarterback. Now, I don't know about you, I just don't believe that. Jackson Dart would be my pick. He would be. He's a good quarterback, and he's someone that I would really be confident in to develop and be a day one starter. So let me know what you guys think. Who would you want to draft at number 9? Would you want to trade back? Would you want to take a guy like Walter Nolan for the defensive line and then take a quarterback in the second round? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.